If you own a UDR, you know the rear axle routine. You get a few good runs in, then that gritty grinding starts creeping in. Or worse, you snap the spool. Either way, you're back on the bench for a full teardown. I got tired of owning a premium truck that demanded a messy rear axle overhaul every few runs. In the real world, drivetrains aren't designed to be torn apart repeatedly, they're designed to be serviced. So I applied that same logic here. This is what rear axle service should look like. Drain, refill, wipe, done. Under 5 minutes. It's a one-time, careful conversion. Proper machining, proper sealing, proper setup. But once it's done, the rear axle stops dragging you into repetitive rebuilds. Today I'll show you the system, the reasoning behind it, and the critical steps, so you can decide if it's worth implementing yourself. Here's the loop I wanted to break. The stock rear axle is packed with grease. Fine dirt gets in, mixes with that grease, and becomes grinding paste. The spool can become the fuse when the drivetrain gets shock loaded, and every time it starts sounding gritty, you're doing the same job again and again. Tear down, clean, inspect, repack, reassemble. It's messy and especially time-consuming. So the goal isn't just stronger parts, it's deleting that maintenance cycle. This is the full system. 4 levels. Level 1. Replace the locked spool with an open differential to stop shock load breakage. Level 2. Tune that diff into a limited slip with heavy silicone to keep drive on corner exit. Level 3. Replace the flexi multi-piece plastic housing with an alloy axle for stiffness and heat dissipation. Level 4. Seal it properly and convert it to an oil bath axle with drain and fill ports and a vent, so service becomes a 5-minute oil change. Now, let's build this logically. The stock rear spool locks both rear wheels together permanently. That's great for some low grip conditions, but on high traction terrain it can spike drivetrain loads, especially with shock loading, which can happen when landing a jump. So the first move is simple. Swap the spool for the optional Traxxas rear differential. That alone dramatically reduces the something has to give moments in the rear axle. This isn't magic. It just stops forcing both wheels to rotate at the same speed all the time. But it creates a new problem. An open diff is great for stopping spool breakage, but under load transfer in a corner, the unloaded wheel can spin and steal the torque. So level 2 is turning that open diff into a limited slip style setup by replacing the stock grease with very heavy silicone. I use 20 million. That gives you differential action when you need it, but much less one-wheel fireworks, better forward drive on mixed surfaces, less tire abuse than a locked rear on high traction surfaces, reduced chances of the good old traction roll. This is the handling compromise that actually makes sense for a UDR that sees gravel, packed dirt, and sometimes even concrete. Next problem, the stock rear axle is a multi-piece plastic structure. It's impressively designed for scale realism, no argument there. But like any design, it reflects trade-offs. The plastic flexes under load, fine dust can work its way in over time, and plastic is a very poor heat sink. That flex matters because it creates small geometry changes under load. Your rear end becomes less consistent, and consistency is good handling. Add flex to the shock load and it's essentially what ends up snapping the spool. So level 3 is the alloy axle housing. The benefits are straightforward. Better geometry control through higher stiffness means more predictable handling. The housing becomes an effective heat sink. This doesn't make the axle immortal. It makes it more stable, more consistent, and more serviceable, which is what we're building towards. If you want an oil bath axle, you need to solve three things. Add a drain, level and vent hole so it behaves like a real closed system, seal the housing and seal the half shafts. First of all, you need to drill and tap a drain at the lowest point, a level at the highest practical point, so that service becomes a simple, controlled process, not a teardown. You imperatively need a vent as well. Heat expands the air and lubricant in a sealed axle. Without a vent, pressure will push the oil past the seals and gaskets. With a vent, pressure can breathe out, and when it cools, air can return so you don't get vacuum lock. I run the vent line up high on the chassis to reduce the chance of water and dirt ingestion. To seal the case, I use an oil-resistant gasket maker, something designed to live in oily environments on automotive applications. Use any quality oil-resistant gasket compound. I'll list exactly what I used in the description. Then you fit miniature oil seals on the half shafts. This is where the conversion can fail, because if your seal choice or fit is wrong, it will seep. I know this because I've tested a few solutions before finding the one that reliably works. Now this is the trade. It's a careful, one-time build. It's not done in 5 minutes. But it does eliminate the repetitive build cycle that kills the ownership experience. If you want the exact specs, seal dimensions, drill and tap sizes, vent routing and the oil quantity I landed on, I keep that in a living bench notes document on Patreon. Because these details evolve as I test, I'd rather keep one accurate, updated reference than freeze something outdated into a single video. Now here's why the work was worth it. It's been 5 hard runs since the last oil change on dust, mud and mixed surfaces. At this point I'd be staring at a full teardown, clean, inspect, re-grease and rebuild. A good couple of hours on the bench at best. Instead, step 1, pan under the axle. Step 2, pull the drain plug, let it drain. You'll see the dark oil pouring out. That's good. It's carrying suspended wear particles and contaminants. Step 3, reinstall the drain plug. Step 4, remove level plug and refill through the vent with fresh oil until it overflows. I use ATF Dexron 2D because it's designed for heat and shear. I tried EP90 but it was too thick at this scale. Plug back in, wipe a drop, done. In 5 minutes tops the axle is serviced and ready to go again. When you combine the optional rear differential, heavy silicone for limited slip behavior, a stiff alloy housing and a sealed oil bath system, you end up with a UDR rear end that's more reliable, more consistent in handling, and drastically easier to maintain. This is one of the best long-term drivetrain quality of life upgrades you can do on this platform. If you want the full bench notes reference, part list, dimension and revision log, it's on Patreon. If you'd rather wait for the final polished manual, get on the mailing list at rcworkbench.com and you'll get notified when it's ready. Now that the rear is finally serviceable in minutes, we bring the rest of the truck up to the same standard. Front end oil bath work is on the table, and after that we're getting the suspension properly dialed in for rough terrain. I'll see you there. Thank you for watching.